Hello, good evening. I call the meeting to order. This meeting of the Hopkinton Select Board is being held both in person and remotely using the video conference platform Zoom. All members participating, not all, Select Board member
Joe Clark is here.
Joe Clark will be participating remotely, and all other members of the Select Board are present for this meeting at Town Hall Room 215-216 in person. At this time, I will ensure that the Select Board members participating remotely can hear and be heard. Joe, can you hear us?
He's not been livened up yet, so we may have to wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
Like he's there as an attendee.
We'll give it a minute. While we wait for that,
He's coming.
it's coming.
No, he's muted.
Here he is.
Joe, can you hear us? While we wait, the public has the option of attending in person here at Town Hall or via Zoom using the link posted in this meeting's agenda. This meeting is being recorded. All votes will be taken by roll call vote. We'll wait for Joe and confirm that he can hear and be heard.
Joe, you're muted if you can unmute.
They got a different mute button in Europe.
Where there's a delay.
Send carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
We could probably do the pledge and come
We
back
can
to
do
it
the
then.
pledge, yeah.
let's go.
We'll go to the first item, Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Joe, can you hear us and speak to us?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Turning up that volume helped, whoever did that last.
Okay, no problem. We can hear you fine. Thank you for joining. Next item on the agenda, public forum. Each person will have up to 2 minutes to speak at public forum, and please start by stating your name and address. And also a reminder that we'll stick to 2 minutes so others can speak, and we'll go to new topics after every speaker. And if we go beyond 15 minutes, which is the allocated time, we will hear again for public forum towards end of the meeting. So with that, anyone in the room ready to speak? Please come on over.
Marie Wiskowski, 51 Ashley. Tonight, you will discuss who should become the temporary police chief when Chief Joe Bennett retires on June 30th. We ask that when you consider Scott Van Raalte, you consider the following. On November 7th, 2025, Van Raalte sent an official letter to the town of Hopkinton, misleading you, the town, to believe that the HPD was legally prohibited from flagging cismanus. He cited a statute that does the opposite of what he claimed. He is a licensed attorney. He spent 5 years as the HPD's sex offender registry officer. In fact, through the chair, Joe Clark, you read the letter to the public, believing that Van Raaten's letter was credible. Mr. Clark, he made you look like a fool. And sir, you are no fool. A few weeks ago, the town attorney, MTC, made it clear that police can inform select boards of allegations, indictments, and criminal history of licensed business owners in the name of public safety. That man should not be running your police department on July 1st. You have a choice tonight. You can appoint someone whose records raise every question this community has been asking for over 3 years, or you can pause and do this right. Do not hand the police department to Mr. Scott Van Raalte, not tonight, and not like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room?
Stephen Snow, 78 Pine Island Road, Hopkinton. My thing tonight is fiscal responsibility. Why are we having a meeting in an agenda in a executive session to discuss interim police chief? Commonwealth of Massachusetts elevates people to acting chief, acting positions all the time. Boston Fire does it on a day-to-day basis. I don't understand. It has to be in Mass General Law that you can do this, that you do not have to elevate somebody to interim when you can elevate someone to acting and pay them a stipend over their existing rate. If you need to take a sergeant and make them a lieutenant, if you need to make a lieutenant and a deputy chief, that's fine, but their position is temporary. It's not permanent. And let the new chief, whoever be it, gets the position, make the decisions on how Hopkinton Police Department runs. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the room, in the room?
Why do I think we're talking about the parade?
Yeah, it looks festive.
Perhaps.
Hello.
Yeah, I wonder.
Jim Marabli, 10 Ledgestone Drive, part of the 4th of July Parade Committee.
Oh, Amy Groves, 2 College Street, another part of the 4th of July Parade Committee.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah, we wanted just to provide a quick update. Everything's going super well in preparations for the parade. We've got, almost 15 floats?
At least 15 so far, yeah.
That are set up, and we wanted to come here, just give you a quick update, and also maybe a shameless plug for anybody who's watching as well. I think it's going to be a really fun time, and we're excited about it.
So it starts at 11 on July 4th, Saturday, and the floats will start lining up around 10:15. You don't have to have a float to be in it. You can be on foot, whatever you'd like. Bring your radio flyer or your tricycle, whatever you like. The awards ceremony follows at the gazebo, and we have birthday cupcakes being handed out. They're little cupcakes. We have prizes, and we wanted to tell you what the prizes are so you can shoot for these. The Most Patriotic Award, the Best Performance Award, that could be an arts thing, a music thing, the Best Creative Award, and also there's one for the Best Parade Route Decorations Award. So we're encouraging everybody, and we've sent out letters to everybody on all the abutters to please decorate their homes or their businesses, and we'll give you an award for the best one. And we have a special award, which is the McIntyre Best Family Award. So we would love to, if we could get some families to sign up. And again, you don't have to have a big truck. You don't have to have a float. You can be on foot, or you can ride your tricycle. You can bring your stroller, or bring your cat, bring your horse, whatever you'd like. And we'll make a space for you right in the middle of the parade so you're safe and you won't be, run over by a truck or something like that. We've been coordinating with the police and the fire department, and we have a really good safety plan. They will be present, plenty of them. Our Grand Marshal is State Representative James Arena DeRosa. And to find out more, definitely go to hopforth.net. That's HOPFOURTH.net. And you can sign up to be in the parade. You can find out more about decorating your house or how you can watch it, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you both. Awesome, looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Anyone else? Mr. Ed.
Ed Harrow, 8 Spring Lane. I didn't have a public comment, but I do now. I would prefer that we call this the Independence Day Parade, not the 4th of July Parade. Independence has a lot more meaning than the 4th of July.
Thank you. I don't see any more hands. Anyone else in the room? Do we have anyone online?
There are 15 people online, but there are no hands raised. So I think that they're here for future agenda items.
All right. Hearing none, I think we can move to our next agenda item, which is our consent agenda. The Select Board will consider the following consent agenda. Minutes. The Select Board will consider approving the minutes of the May 26, 2026 meeting B, parade permit application run for Rafa Fun Run. The Select Board will consider approving a parade permit application submitted by Marissa Remley on behalf of Hopkinton High School Girls Lacrosse for a road race to be held on June 20th, 2026. Starting at 9 a.m. on the Loop Road at the Hopkinton School campus on Hayden Row. There are no road closures requested. C, new employee. The Select Board will consider confirming the town manager's appointment of Ben Lodux, Senior Support and Applications Technician for the town's Technology Department. Marathon Fund Committee request. The Select Board will consider approving a Marathon Fund Committee request for $22,850 by the Hopkinton Center for the Arts for purchasing a tent to be installed and removed professionally every year for 6 months for all outdoor activities. E, Linden Street Acceptance Plan. The Select Board will consider voting to sign the Linden Street Acceptance Plan for recording in the Registry of Deeds. I think that's about it. Do we have anyone have any comments or anything you want to separate out?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We'll go for a roll call vote.
Can I just ask, I'm
please.
fine with the motion, but if I can do a couple quick questions. On the Marathon Fund Committee request, the 22.8, I'm assuming, obviously, the Marathon Fund Committee is putting this forward, correct? Yeah. Okay, and that's a pretty good chunk for that group. Okay, and then on the Linden Street Acceptance Plan, am I confusing Linden Street with the one over here near Weston that we had the drainage concerns and the easement?
You are not.
So that is this one.
Right, following up on the town meeting vote, this is
Right.
the plan that would get recorded for that acceptance.
Okay, and we're good to go there, that they go through town meeting?
That's correct.
That one did, yeah, okay. I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. And to be clear, this one was recommended by Planning Board and then approved in the town meeting.
Correct.
Thank you. Since there's nothing else, we'll put to roll call vote. Mr. Ritterbusch?
Amy Roderbush, yes.
Mr. Krisner?
Matt Kisner, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Brian Herr, yes.
Mr. Clark?
Joe Clark, yes.
And Shahidul Manan, yes. Thank you. Our next agenda item is Police Chief Screening Committee appointments. The Select Board will consider appointing the members of the Police Chief Screening Committee, and this is a very important item. We have discussed it at length. We are very excited and also cautious as to how we go for selecting our next Chief of Police. And we have our representative, Mr. Kisner, on the committee. So I would hand it over to Mr. Kisner to walk us through how we have come up with the applicants, how we have voted the preliminary kind of screening, and how we are going to do the selection for voting tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So first, thank you everybody for the opportunity. It has been an absolute privilege to learn quite a bit more about the police and just the broader responsibilities of the HPD and the officers therein. In terms of the process here, we ultimately put out a call through a number of channels, though I've received feedback not enough and for not long enough. So for that, I apologize, and I continue to ask that please give us feedback about how we can better reach you in town. Ultimately, we received 28 submissions, for which a series of questions were put forth in conjunction with Jessica, our HR director, and Elaine, the town manager. To be clear, I had no input into what the questions would be or their design and architecture, nor did I have any influence on what was provided to the select board in terms of what follows here. So from the list of 28, Jessica and Elaine ultimately made recommendations to me. I made my own recommendations of 10. I provided a neutral version of the list without any comments from myself or Human Resources and Elaine to the rest of the select board, and I asked each of them to pick 10 as well. My thought here tonight was that ultimately we could look and see, hey, did anybody make everybody's list? Spoiler, yes, we did have somebody make everybody's list. I think it's safe to assume that's somebody that we'd all want to bring through. My thought is then we would look at the people, so there's one person who made 5 people's lists. We'll go through this all in a minute, but just for a process perspective. There were 2 people that made 4 people's list. I suspect we'll get their second. And then there's a big block of you that were on 3 of our lists. And I think we'll likely want to have a discussion about what the composition of that group looks like, being mindful that it isn't just about having 6 citizens, it is about having the right 6 citizens. And I hope you hear me say this, because I'm going to say it plainly and clearly. At least this guy, I'm looking for a troublemaker or 2, if I'm candid. We need to make sure there are some voices that are not just yes, are not just always collaborative. We expect you to collaborate as part of this process, but I expect there to be some differing views respectfully brought forward. So with all that in mind, I'd like to suggest we start by discussing the internal citizens who have submitted. The second portion of this is that Elaine and Jessica have put forth a list of 6 members of town staff to make up the other portion of our committee. I'd like to review and discuss that with the select board second. I think that's probably going to be a quicker discussion, and I want to respect that some of you in the audience are here. I'm going to pause here and ask if there are any questions amongst the board in terms of process, how we got here, and my explanation.
Mr. Hart?
So my 10 people that I thought might be good for the committee are represented in this along with everyone else's 10, and that's how you ranked them?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
And to be clear, we did not do 1 to 10. My first thought here was just, let's do top cut. If somebody is on all 5, that's great. We can work easily.
Yeah, mine was just 10 people that no
Okay.
ranking. That's great, thank you.
So-
I'm good.
I can happily yield back to you, Mr. Chair, in terms of how you'd like to facilitate the discussion from here.
Sure, thank you.
I just want to clarify too. I think
Please.
You said that HR only sent a list to you, but HR sent a list to all of us, I believe.
They did.
All right.
My apologies. Even better.
Joe, do you have any comments before we discuss the candidates?
Nope, nothing to add right now.
All right, thank you. So I think how we can do this is, out of all the candidates, as Mr. Kisner explained, we all voted 10 candidates and tallied the number of votes. So I'll go in the rank order, and my suggestion and open for any comments and adjustments is the top 3 we can probably collectively decide on, and then we can go around for everyone's choice for the other 3. And Lance, if you can help us count those, then we can get a tally and vote on the total number. How does that sound?
Yes, that sounds good.
All right.
Pulling up my list, folks.
Mr. Chair, sorry. Do we think we're going to kind of focus on the top half of the list, the 3s and above? Is that generally what we're thinking here in terms of how we're going to pick the 6?
I think so. With such a long list, I think, and there are a lot of people that got 3 votes, I think that we should stick to the 3 and above.
Unless we have a compositional reason at the end to potentially go back, like I see Steve in the audience, not to pick on him. Steve wasn't on my list. I love Steve. If we get there and we have 5 other people and we haven't found the person who's going to ask the hard question, I might want to have a conversation about Steve Snow.
Okay, so we'll start with the 3 and above and see if that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still love you, Steve.
Sounds good. Joe, any comments? All right. So the top, I'll go through the names and the count. Mike Wellen, 5. John Graziano, 4. Bill Flannery, 4. Beth Malloy, 3. Bob Levinson, 3. Dana Babin, 3. Divya Shah, 3. Jessica Fagan, 3. John Mosher, 3. Sabine St. Pierre, 3. William Bill Baldiga, 3. And after that, the rest of the candidates has 2 and 1 combination, 2, 1, and 0 combination. Should I stop here, or you want to hear the rest?
So through the chair, then, I'd like to at least make an immediate suggestion. Bill Flannery was not on my list, largely just for makeup of my list. He was on my green flag candidate list. Absolutely happy to be the 5th person to support Bill Flannery as well.
All right. So how do we want to do this? I want to read the rest of the candidates, just so the candidates are aware. And we are recognizing everyone for stepping forward, and thank you for your commitment and your willingness to serve. And it's going to be a tough decision. We have to come up with 6. So please come for the next one again if you are not selected tonight. Ed Harrow, 2. Guilherme Costa, 2. Catherine Hudson, 2. Sean M. Masterson, 2. Craig Stanley, 1. Gail M. Carey, 1. Patrick McGowan, 1. Steve Snow, 1. Elisa Hope Merrill, 0. Jennifer Costa, 0. Mark Ambroson, 0. Martin Sautel, 0. Stephen A. Smith, 0. So with that, the full list, I would first try to get a census among us for the top 3. Mike Whalen, John Graziano, and Bill F. Flannery. Is that something we want to consider before we go to the next 3? Any comments, starting with Mr. Dabush?
Oh, it's okay with me. I think they were clearly the top 3, so I would be comfortable putting them in our selection.
Yep. I don't want to belabor it either, especially knowing I didn't have Bill on the list and knowing why I didn't have him. It had nothing to do with his character. I would consider him to be a 5 as well. I like the way Amy put it. We have a clear top 3, and then let's spend the time on what the next part looks like.
Thank you. Mr. Hare?
I'm good with that block, thanks.
Mr. Clark?
I'm good, thank you.
So then we can go for the next 3, and then we'll make a motion all together. So for the next 3, Joe, do you want to state your choices?
Yeah, happy to. So for my next 3, and I thought a lot about kind of, after seeing, the first 3 that we talked about, looking at kind of, diversity of backgrounds and opinions. So my next 3 were Sabine St. Pierre, Divya Shah, and Dana Babin.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Hare?
Well, I have the next 4 still in my head, so I'm trying to figure that out. So bear with me. I have Beth Malloy, Dana Babin, and Sabine St. Pierre, and Bob Levinson, because he's done an awful lot of HR work in Hopkinton over the last 25 years, and I think he'd be a really good candidate. But I think I like the idea of differing views here, so he's probably my 4th out of those 4. So Beth, Dana, and Sabine.
Thank you, Mr. Hare. Mr. Kisner?
I was very open that I thought we needed some good trouble. I am very excited to hear that it seems this is where the rest of the board is as well. I also had Beth on my list. I had Dana Babin on my list, and I had Sabine St. Pierre. Divya Shah, you were a hard cut for me here.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yep, Beth Malloy, Dana Babin, Sabine St. Pierre.
Thank you. Mr. Dabush?
I had Beth Malloy, Bob Levinson, and Sabine St. Pierre.
Thank you. And I have Beth Malloy, Bob Levinson, and Dana Babin. And again, we wish we could have everyone. Thank you again. Now we'll tally the vote, and how does the final 3 looks lands?
1 second here.
Which were your 3, Shaidu?
I think in my tally it looks okay. I'll wait for your counts.
So looks like we have 3 with 4 votes. So Beth Malloy, Dana Babin, and Sabine St. Pierre.
That's.
Did we hear from? Oh, we did hear from Joe. I'm sorry. Yep, never mind. My apologies. I have that written down.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I have too. And Divya Shah, 1, Bob Levinson, 2. So with that, I think we have our final 6. Again, I'll read the names. Mike Whalen, John Graziano, William Flannery, Beth Malloy, Dana Babin, and Sabine St. Pierre. Does that sound right to you, everyone? Can we have a motion for the final selection?
I'm happy to. I move to appoint Michael Whalen, John Graziano, William Bill F. Flannery, Beth Malloy, Dana Babin, and Sabine St. Pierre to the Police Chief Screening Committee.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We'll go roll call vote. Mr. Hart?
Brian Hur, yes.
Mr. Kisner?
Matthew Kisner, yes.
Mr. Dabush?
Mira Bush, yes.
Mr. Clark?
Joe Clark, yes.
And Shahidul Manan, yes. Thank you, congratulations, and looking forward to your
All
work.
right. That's a sign we did something right.
All right. We'll go to our next agenda item. Sorry.
So within here, we have a second portion. So
sorry.
just to give the rest of you an idea here, now that we have the 6 of you, I would envision myself, Elaine, and Jessica following up shortly with you to schedule potentially a first check-in. We have a second half of the process here tonight, which is to review the list of town-submitted names. I'll also be working in the background to compile the feedback that myself and Kyla McSweeney, who is the school committee representative working with us as well. We had the opportunity to meet with the HPD last week for almost 2.5 hours. So I have quite a bit of feedback that I'm going to be looking forward to sharing with this group as well. So with that in mind then, Jessica, would you mind coming up and joining us? These are purely the town's recommendations. I had no influence or opinion here. I'll have one here, but they are presented as theirs. Thank you so much. And thank you, by the way, for your support in the process. You have made this painless, and I know I have made it a little painful.
Not at all. Okay. So we wanted to have a diverse representation from different departments that were key stakeholders. Later in the process, we'll have senior level stakeholders in the process, but at the committee level, we wanted to have other people who were from the various departments. So our recommendations are for Josh Grassetti, who is our IT director. He works closely with the police department in supporting their IT needs. Holly Moran, who is also a resident, who actually applied to be a resident, but we felt like since she is an employee that she'd be better suited on as an employee. Spoke very eloquently about her commitment to the community and her desire to be involved in the process. She works in Youth and Family Services. So we feel like she is also a twofold stakeholder. Lance from the town manager's office, who also works closely with the department. Tom Poirier, who is on the fire department. He is a fire prevention officer. Evan Brooks, who is a dispatcher, who has interest in being on the committee, and then Amy Beck, who is the director of our senior services. So all those departments have a key relationship with the police department, and we feel like it would be a nice, diverse group of people to help with the screening process.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you for the effort. I'll go around to make any comments or ask any questions, but I appreciate all your work. I'll start with Mr. Clark.
Hey, I think that's a really exciting list. I've had the privilege to work with, most of the people on that list, and I think it is a fair representation of the different departments, of different opinions in town that all kind of touch the police department in different ways. I guess mine was more, I only had a question for Jessica. Was that how many applicants from the town departments did we have total?
We reached out to basically get recommendations from the departments. It wasn't a formal application process the way we did with the residents. So we did outreach.
Okay. All right. Did you feel that there was any departments that didn't respond or are missing in this?
No, I think so. With the library, it doesn't have as close an interaction with the police department as some of our other departments. Not all of we have more departments than we have seats. So we kind of prioritized the departments that had a direct interaction with the police department.
Perfect. Thanks, Jessica. I just wanted to kind of ask the question.
Sure.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Utabush?
We're not actually voting on these, though, right? We're just discussing.
We're appointing them as members.
Oh, we would have.
We will be appointing them as members. Okay. No, I think it's a good representative list from 6 different departments, so I don't have any objection.
All right, Mr. Kisner?
I only have one question here, and it's about Mr. Brooks. I want to make sure from our perspective and from a town perspective that this isn't starting to blur a little conflict of interest being within the dispatch chain and the adjacency to the police. I understand that gives them proximity and relevance. I'm excited that they want to be involved. Please don't hear this as a dismissal of the interest. It's a legitimate concern about the actual fairness and conflict of interest it potentially presents.
There's no line of supervision. The director of communications reports to the town manager.
Okay.
Nobody in dispatch reports to the police department.
Okay. If you're not concerned, I'm not concerned.
Good question, and I think thanks for clarifying. Mr. Har?
I had the same question. I'm all set. Thank you.
And I don't have any question. Thank you to those who are stepping up, and thank you for all the work. I think we're all set. Thank you, Jessica. We'll take a vote, but stay on for it. Do we have a motion?
Yes. So I move to. Oh, I was going to try and do it off the cuff. What a bad idea that was. I move to appoint Josh Grassetti, Holly Moran, Lance Del Pior, Amy Beck, Evan Brooks, and Tom Poirier to the Police Chief Screening Committee.
Second.
We'll do roll call vote. Mr. Har?
Brian Herr, yes.
Mr. Kisner?
Matt Kesner, yes.
Mr. Utabush?
Amy Rodabush, yes.
Mr.
Joe
Clark?
Clark, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the continued support here. I look forward to working with you all on this one.
Thank you. Do we have to do the
Can I ask-
liaison again? The liaison members, do we have to?
You had voted that at a previous meeting?
We did, and for school committee, it was from the school.
Yep.
So we don't have to
You
do
don't have to
anything.
vote it.
All right.
Voted that already.
All right.
We vote.
Mr. Chair, we're done then in terms of setting up the committee.
Yes.
And now the committee will take it upon themselves to get with Elaine and whoever, Jessica, and start the work.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'll commit to a future agenda item at our next meeting with an update reasonably on progress.
Got it.
Thank you all for the wonderful work and again stepping forward.
Thank you, everybody.
Next item on the agenda.
Before we move on, I think Lance isn't quite sure we appointed the school committee representative.
I think we should have a vote just in case we didn't appoint Kyla McSweeney officially.
We did not here, actually.
So
Voted for Matt, right?
yeah, so through the town manager,
Not Kyla.
through the chair, I guess my question would be, we committed that there would be a format of 14. You appointed me, they appointed 12. Do we appoint the school committee member, or when we said there would be 14, did we delegate that authority to the school committee, who themselves then acted? I'm comfortable doing the vote. I don't know that it matters. I'm curious about the functionality here.
You know, the school committee has designated one of their members, but to make it official, you could.
We should still appoint her? Okay, then, all right. To make sure we've minded our Ps and Qs, I move to appoint Kyla McSweeney, the school committee representative, to the Police Chief Screening Committee.
Second.
We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Clark?
Joe Clark, yes.
Mr. Utabush?
Amy Rodabush, yes.
Mr. Kisner?
Matt Kisner, yes.
Mr. Har?
Brian Herr, yes.
And Shahidul Manan, yes. Thank you. Now we have the full committee voted and approved. Good luck, and we'll stay tuned. Our next agenda item is interim police chief, and the select board will consider discussing the appointment of an interim police chief effective July 1, 2026. So as we all know, Chief Bennett is retiring as of June 30th. So we are going to appoint an interim police chief. And I wanted to make sure we are all comfortable on the approach and agreed on the next step, which is we have two options. One is looking for our deputy chief to have as interim police chief until we complete the hiring process and have the new chief selected through due process. And second is going out and looking for an interim police chief for this duration. So I would like my colleagues to comment, and feel free to ask any logistics questions as well as to how would you like to proceed. I'll start with Mr. Hare.
I'll start with a public comment that was made earlier in terms of fiscal responsibility. I do not think we should go out and seek an outside interim police chief and pay that person for a certain period of time. I'm sure they'd want a 6-month contract or something like that as a minimum to come do it. So I would take that piece of the puzzle off the table and look towards something internal. But I don't think we need to go outside for this at all.
Thank you. Is that all?
For now, yes, thanks.
Mr. Kisner?
I'm sort of in a similar boat, though. I'll acknowledge I am of two minds here. There's the part of me that is, yes, fiscally responsible, but also there is the notion that the process demands fairness. A degree of abstraction and removal from the process is a healthy and fair thing. Conversely, we have an employee in good faith who has functioned in this capacity on a number of occasions as the acting police chief. I take it seriously when we start talking performance management, performance expectations. That's an expectation of the job when the police chief isn't here, and it's one that our deputy chief has fulfilled before. I am comfortable seeing that continue again in an acting status, but I will acknowledge I'd like to better understand if there is a difference in formality and expectation between acting police chief, which I think Mr. Snow elegantly described during our public forum here, and then formally declaring an interim, because I do view them similarly in my mind, but I'd like to understand if they are truly similar in functionality.
Jessica, do you want to make a comment, or who are you asking the question to?
I suppose I'm asking the question. I'll take an answer from just about anybody.
The difference between acting and interim is acting is usually a designation you give when somebody is filling in for an individual who's still employed. So if somebody goes out on leave, then somebody becomes acting. When the person leaves and somebody is designated to cover, then they're interim.
Okay. From an HR perspective, would you expect any difference in the responsibilities of the job, understanding there may be a difference in length between interim and acting, but on a day-to-day basis, do you largely view the job responsibilities as the same? As you understand them. I want to be clear, I'm not trying to trick you into talking about details
Generally,
of LEO.
yes, when it comes to especially the police department.
Okay.
Because there are decisions that need to be made. Sometimes the distinction is around larger decisions around hiring, or some of the larger decisions that if somebody is simply out on leave, they may want to be the decision maker when they come back versus having an acting do it. But with an interim, that person is the full role with all its responsibilities.
I understand. And we essentially don't have the opportunity to leverage an acting because we will no longer have someone in role. Okay.
Right.
All right.
You're good?
Yep.
Ms. Ritterbusch?
Yeah, I think, like originally, I had thought we might try to get an interim that would be a retired police chief with someone from another town, but we're really out of time at this point because Chief Bennett retires in 2 weeks, and we haven't started that process. So, and to Mr. Hirsch's point about the cost, it'd be more fiscally responsible to use a current staff member as the interim chief of police. So I think we should move in that direction.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
I kind of echo what Amy said. It doesn't seem to make sense to me from a timing standpoint to look externally. And, we do have a deputy chief that has, sat in acting or interim, whichever it is, capacity multiple times. So I'm very comfortable with moving forward with that.
Thank you, Joe. I have the similar comments, so I won't add too much. It's the economics, it's the timing, it's the role of the second in command, and it's only for a couple of months. So I'm good with internal appointment. So sounds like we all five are echoing the same, and I didn't have it specifically on agenda because I wanted to hear from everyone first. But if you all feel comfortable, and we are not meeting before the 30th on the schedule yet, so I would like to also check, are you comfortable moving the motion to assign the interim to our second in command?
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, just real quick to clarify. When you said you didn't have it on the agenda, is that to act on the interim?
Oh, that's right. To act on the interim, we do have a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the public is not confused that we're doing something out of order.
No.
And that we do have it on the agenda to discuss, and if we discuss and decide, that's within our purview to do so.
But we.
Great. Thank you for clarifying. So we do have it on the agenda, but it was pending our discussion and agreement, which we have.
I get it. Totally.
So, no,
And
thank
the
you.
motion is pending successful negotiations with the interim chiefs.
Correct.
So it wouldn't.
So with that, do we
have
want
to
to?
meet one more time after this then?
Oh, the negotiation can happen,
Because we can make the motion pending the negotiations as it's
Right,
listed
that's
in
what I'm
the
saying.
script.
yeah.
So before we vote on this through the chair, I'm going to choose to abstain here. I've made my thoughts clear because I wanted to say them out loud and to be united with the board. I'm going to choose to abstain from the vote just to give myself a degree of separation here for the process. I thought it was fair to offer my perspective out loud. I'm going to take a degree of removal here for this decision so that it isn't seen as biasing me in the process to come forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that comment. So with that, do we have a motion for appointing the interim chief of police?
I would move to appoint Scott Van Ralton as the interim chief of police as of July 1st, 2026, pending successful negotiations, until such a time that a new police chief has been appointed and sworn in.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We'll go roll call vote.
Sorry, but I do want to discuss the motion a little bit.
Yes.
So a couple of thoughts come to mind. I think this is number 3 or 4 for me for interim police chief over the years. And I do think this internal approach is the way to go. I've seen interim, not police chiefs because we're always interim, but I've seen interim town managers, and it took us 6 months to get them up to speed, and then they were gone. And we paid them for a year and yada, yada. So I think this is the right way to go. I also want to point out, though, with the motion that's on the table, that the motion on the table is for an interim police chief, period. It is not for a police chief. It is not for the next 5 years or whatever is the contract will be for the successor to Joe Bennett. This is the interim position. In the interim, I think the natural order would be that Scott Van Ralton, deputy chief, serve in that role. But it's not a foregone conclusion that that then becomes the chief of police for Hopkinton, right? And the last thing I would say is, especially when it comes to these legal matters, and you know the public hears different perspectives on these things. Our police officers do nothing without checking with town council or the district attorney's office or whomever legally to make sure the things that they're talking about and doing are in order. So I'm comfortable that while there's perceptions that that's not the case, that we're, I think that Scott was perfectly within his, what's the term I'm looking for? His role, and got the advice he needed before penning and issuing that letter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Herr. Very well explained. I appreciate that.
Chair.
Any other comments?
Yeah, through the chair, if I could. I do want to note when I had the opportunity to spend time with the force last week that there was strong internal support for this appointment as well from the staff. I initially took that as a given because in my world in corporate America, of course there would be strong internal support. When the big dog eats, the little dogs eat. That's how this goes. I think it's also fair to reflect to you, the public, that that is not necessarily the stance that has existed within the HPD in previous years. I thought it was rather meaningful, actually, that when I was alone in a room with officers, that was the way they chose to speak about command staff. It has been made very clear to me by some of my predecessors privately that that has absolutely not always been the case. And please, I am not intending that as a criticism. I am trying to offer it as a reflection here that we make our decisions with diligence, but I would echo Mr. Herr. Today, we are making an administrative decision for the ongoing stewardship of the Hopkinton Police Department. It is in no way, shape, or form meant to be construed as an indication of who will be the next chief of police, at least not from me.
Thank you, Mr. Kisner. Anyone else? Mr. Clark? All right, I don't have anything else to add, except that I think this is a smooth way to handle the transition right now, and given the time and economics again. And again, as Mr. Kisner mentioned, Mr. Van Ralton has served for a long time and as a deputy chief as well, and has, it's also gonna be, I think, a moral issue with the police, or moral booster for the police, because it's a smooth transition and natural transition for now. But again, rest assured, This is interim, and we will do all the due diligence to find the next new chief, and this has no impact on that. So with that, I'll go for a roll call vote. Mr. Ritterbusch?
Amy Roberts, yes.
Mr. Kisner?
Mike Kisner abstain.
Mr. Har?
Brian Hur, yes.
Mr. Clark?
Joe Clark, yes.
And Shahidul Manan, yes. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda are annual appointments, board and committee members, officials. We have uncontested board committee seats, and we'll go with those first. The Select Board will consider annual appointments to the following boards and committees and officials: Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board, Board of Appeals, Commission on Disability, Community Preservation Committee, Conservation Commission, Council on Aging, Cultural Commission, Historical Commission, Sustainable Green Committee, Tax Relief Committee, Trails Committee, Veterans Celebration Committee, Water and Sewer Advisory Board, Woodville Historic District Commission, Youth Commission. So with that, I think we'll go through the candidates. There are quite a few who are uncontested. We may go with them first, confirming the reappointments, and then we can go through the contested committee seats. But I'll open it up for discussion. Mr. Hare?
I'm good with the list of candidates and their positions.
Thank you. Mr. Kisner?
So through the chair, I guess I want to ask, well, there's been some back and forth in emails to us. Again, folks, we really do see them and situationally read them. Are there any that are contested here that we are going to discuss in which the chair has provided us feedback as to who they would prefer to see supported? I want to make sure that,
There are some.
I thought there were, and that's why I'm,
But not on this first list, right?
Not on the first
list is uncontested.
folks, you're never going to believe, so I hadn't read this well enough. Okay, the first list here is not, I don't have any concerns with the uncontested list.
Yeah, we'll go through the contested later on.
My apologies.
No problem. Mr. Ritterbusch?
So what's the question now?
The question is, are we okay with this approach? And
Yes.
then we'll go for the motion.
In the interest of time, if they're uncontested, I think we should just
Yeah.
do it together.
And I think we've lost Joe.
All right, yep. So anyone want to move the motion for the uncontested seats?
I move to appoint the following individuals to the boards and committees listed to the terms identified. Lucia Lopez to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board to a term expiring June 30th, 2029. Michael Damasio is a full member and Sean Masterson is an associate member of the Board of Appeals to terms expiring June 30th, 2031. Pamela Locke and Nancy Draw to the Commission on Disability to terms expiring on June 30th, 2029. Brian Colella to an at-large position on the Community Preservation Committee to a term expiring June 30th, 2029. Carl Barkerhook and Margaret Shaw to the Conservation Commission to terms expiring June 30th, 2029. Maureen Weltel and Elizabeth Guerra to the Council on Aging to a term expiring June 30th, 2029. Stan Polnick, Darlene Hayes, and Sheila Frackleton to the Cultural Council to terms expiring June 15th, 2029. This is one of those committees that doesn't do on June 30th. Amy Groves, Jeff Rowland, Carol Essler, John Sutherland, and Michael Miller to the Sustainable Green Committee to terms expiring June 30th, 2029. And to clarify, there was somebody that they didn't want us to appoint yet, right? They've been removed?
Yes.
Okay. Shauna Shabal is a youth member of the Sustainable Green Committee to a term expiring June 30th, 2027. Judith Weinthaler and Sue Curries to the Tax Relief Committee to terms expiring on June 30th, 2029. Peter Lagoy, Sean Kimball, Linda Chuss to the Trails Committee to terms expiring June 30th, 2029. And Kristen Turpin to the Trails Committee to a term expiring June 30th, 2028. Mike Whalen to the Veterans Celebration Committee to a term expiring June 30th, 2029. Paul Gallagher to the Water Sewer Advisory Board to a term expiring June 30th, 2029. Shannon O'Reilly, Board of Realtor nominee, and Bethany Swinton Murray to the Woodville Historic District Commission to terms expiring June 30th, 2029. Avery Burton, Evan Mather, Ava Bennett to the Youth Commission to terms expiring June 30th, 2029. Aviv Sani as the middle school representative, and Serena Didi Rajesh as the high school representative on the Youth Commission to terms expiring June 30th, 2027. Those two positions haven't been filled in a while, so I'm happy to have someone.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
We'll do, we can now do voice vote, I think.
As long as we confirm that there's no one remote.
Yeah. Joe, are you still online?
Joe's left.
He's gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone. We confirmed that. He's in Europe, so. We'll do a voice vote. All those in favor of approving this motion, say aye. Aye. Any nay? Hearing none, the motion approves. We'll now move to the contested board committee seats. For Historical Commission, actually, we'll have to go through the list. For Historical Commission, we have 4 openings and 6 applicants. Total number of members, 7 full members, 2 associate members. Number of expiring terms, vacancies, 4 full members. Term length is 3 years. New persons who has applied, Susan Stevenson, Nicholas Sedia, and persons seeking reappointment are Scott Noose, Ann Matina, James Burton, and Eric Sonnet. So I'll open it to the board to state your selections, and then we can go for a motion. Or
Nicholas Sedia is on the Zoom. And then I think we did get a recommendation from the chair, so we should acknowledge that.
yeah. Yes, please, come on over. Thank you.
My name's Mike Rowan. I'm chairman of the Historical Commission, and I am delighted that there are 6 applicants for the Historical Commission. I really welcome the interest. However, the 4 current members who are up for reappointment are probably some of the most staunch and diligent members of our commission. We currently have 7 full-time members and 1 associate. There is 1 associate position that is vacant. Is that correct? Okay. We never have 8 at our meetings, but the 4 that are up for reappointment are diligent in attending the majority of the meetings. So I am here to advocate for those 4 as being a core of the Historical Commission. Now, I'm delighted that there are 2 new applicants. It's fantastic. I would ask that you consider those applicants for the associate position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for coming up. We'll open it for discussion, Mr. Hurd.
Would it be possible, Elaine, did we post for the associate positions, or does that not matter, do you think?
It was posted just for the Historical Commission, so it could be associate or...
So it could be associate too, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in taking the chair's recommendation, especially Mike's over the years. I think that his positions are clear, and I think those 4 individuals seeking reappointment make an awful lot of sense for the community to carry forward. I would love to see somebody get appointed to the associate position of the 2. So I think that would be a nice kind of way to sort it out.
I agree. And Nicholas Sedia is on the Zoom, so we could ask him to introduce himself if we would like.
Sorry?
Nicholas Sedia, who's one of the other applicants, is on the Zoom. We could ask him to introduce himself.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Setia, do you want to introduce yourself and say a few words?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Is my video also messed up? Or
We can't see your video, but we hear you perfectly.
Okay. Is there any way for you to turn on the video? I thought I had it on, but.
Yeah, that's okay. I think we can hear you fine. So if you want to say a few words and introduce, that's good.
Definitely. My name's Nicholas Sedia. I'm a recent graduate of the Catholic University down in Washington, D.C. I have both a Bachelor's of Science in Architecture and a Master's of Architecture and Urban Planning. I am a resident of Hopkinton, Massachusetts. I went to Hopkinton High School, and I was even, I was a classmate of Mrs. Ritterbusch's son
I remember.
as well. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm very interested in historical, the architecture of the town, especially of the work that you're doing here as well.
Thank you, Nick. That's a great background, and thank you for stepping forward. The board have any question for Nick?
Is Nicholas a resident of Hopkinton today? Sweet.
He said so.
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm all set, thanks.
So there are some of the other members are on Zoom too, but I don't know if we wanted to talk to them.
We can open it up.
Okay, we're gonna
Any
go
other
recommendation.
applicant want to speak on Zoom?
So through the chair, in the interest of time, I'm comfortable with Mr. Herr's suggestion. There are 4 long-term members. The chair is here advocating for them. I'm not going to pretend I know more about who should be on the Historical Commission than the chair of the Historical Commission. Amy, if you're aligned, I'd love to go with the 4 that we have for reappointment. And then if Susan Stevenson's not here, if she is, I'd love to hear from her. I'm otherwise very comfortable proposing Nicholas Sedia for the associate position. Not that I don't want to hear from all of you, but I think we can get everybody where they want.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we won't call on James Burton to speak. It's not necessary. That's.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Sorry.
Some people sign into Zoom without their full name, so I don't know. Someone named Zoom user has raised their hand, so that might be another one of them.
Sorry, I didn't.
So somebody
Is
signed in.
that-
Yes, it's
Amy,
Susan.
is that me?
That's you, Susan.
Yeah, given what the last person just said of his resume, I'd like to pull my name. He sounds excellent.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
God bless Susan.
I'd like to add that there are openings on the Historic District Commission, if someone would like to apply for that.
How many seats are
A couple
opening?
of openings on.
There's a different historic commission, the Historic District Commission,
Oh, okay.
that has openings, so Susan could apply for that.
That's great.
And anyone else who's listening.
So Susan, there's another district, Historic District Commission, which has opening. And thank you for all your service and all you do for Hopkinton. Please do apply. Anyone else have any other comment? Or I agree with my colleagues and appreciate Mike's recommendation and appreciate everyone's understanding and again stepping forward. I'll entertain a motion for the Historic Commission.
I move to appoint Scott Nose, Ann Matina, James Burton, and Eric Sonnet to full membership to the Historical Commission to terms expiring on June 30th, 2029, and Nicholas Sedia as an associate member to the Historical Commission to terms expiring on June 30th, 2029.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any nay? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And congratulations. Thanks for stepping up. We will move to our next
Do you have other appointments?
other committees. Labor Council is the next.
Correct.
I don't have the candidate names here.
I will move to appoint Merrick O'Connell as Labor Counsel to a term expiring June 30th, 2027.
Second.
All those any comments, questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? The motion carries. The next one is Keeper of the Lockup. Do we have a motion?
I'm gonna pause and entertain through the chair. What is the keeper of the lockup?
Just that.
It's a ceremonial statutory position from the distant past, which was unearthed a couple of years ago. Realized we had to appoint someone to this ceremonial
Do they get a badge?
historical position.
Perfect.
They have to clean the jail cell, I think.
I move to appoint Lieutenant Aaron O'Neill as the keeper of the lockup to a term expiring 30 June 2027.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion carries. The next one is the traffic constables. And
I got him.
we have a list of individuals as traffic constable candidates. Do we have a motion?
I move to appoint the following individuals as, for any comments, questions? Otherwise, I'll take the bulletin. No? I move to appoint the following individuals as traffic constables to terms expiring 30 June 2029. Here we go, folks. Christopher Adams, Evan Brooks, James Brown, Joseph Bennett, Benjamin Campbell, James Collins, Michael Cunningham, Jeremy Doyle, David Falvey, Richard Flannery, Alan Gordon, Thomas Griffin, Darlene Haynes, Daniel Harvey, Gary Hassett, Stephen Iadarola, Jeffrey Johnson, Michael Jones, Scott Jurassic, Michelle Kinney, John Kraus, William Leary, Douglas Lewis, John Litchfield, Derek McGill, Paul Maffey, Alan Ostrander, Paul Parisi, Vincent Pignataro, Thomas Poirier, Patrick Rahill, Jane Rathburn Goodman, Bruce Rivard, John Sanchioni, Patrick Sheridan, Dan Smith, Craig Stanley, Gerald Thayer, David Villainy, Charles Wallace, Jared Taranto, Edward Belbin, Jeffrey Gogan, Barry Haynes, Maxwell Hoadley, Robert Johnson, Charles Cadlick, Amanda Kasparsik, Nathan Kendall, Mike McLaughlin, Travis Metcalf, Kazane, I'm so sorry, Rodriguez, Kimberly Walker.
Second.
Any comments?
Chair.
Questions?
Elaine, are we missing anybody off this list? There's a couple of names that have done this work for years that I don't see on the list, but are there different terms or something?
There are different terms, so the 3-year terms, and there are people who have been appointed in other years whose terms have not expired.
Thank you.
Thank you, and it's amazing you found the missing names out of 50. That tells a lot. Thank you. So with that, I think we'll put it on a voice vote. All those who are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Hearing none, motion carries. The next one is town manager appointments and delegations. For the town manager's appointment of the individuals for the positions listed below. I won't repeat it, so I'll entertain a motion, and then we can discuss if there is any.
So I'll make the motion. I do have a question. I move to confirm the town manager's appointment of the following individuals to the positions listed to terms expiring 30 June 2027. Elizabeth Jeffress as Inspector of Animals, William Proctor as Animal Control Officer, Ed Harrow as Viewer of Fences Extraordinaire, Carrie Reed as Director of Public Works, Charles Dabritz as Plumbing and Gas Inspector, Peter Zareski as Assistant Plumbing and Gas Inspector, Dan Hunt as Assistant Plumbing and Gas Inspector, Kevin Barrett as Wiring Inspector, Kevin Barrett as Person to Cut Wire in Case of Fire. Incredible. Jonathan Shepard as Assistant Wiring Inspector, John Palmer as Public Wear, Jane Adams as Public Wear, Jamie Wright as Public Wear, Colleen Roy as Public Wear, Thomas J. McIntyre as Public Wear.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussions, questions?
Yeah, my question on this one, I mean, the rest of these feel kind of interesting. We've got the fence viewer, the cutter of the wire. I'm very surprised to see the appointment of the Director of Public Works here. Can you help me understand why it is we're reappointing a senior leader like that?
The town charter has a provision that says the director is appointed for a term up to 3 years. So it's per the charter. It is unusual. The DPW director and the assessor are appointed this way.
Okay, but we're only making a one-year appointment for here, and you just voiced over 3 years.
That's correct.
1 and 3 are different. What am I missing?
I think a 1-year appointment is appropriate.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Any other questions, comment from board members?
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure exactly how to do this, but I would like to break out, if possible, the wiring inspector and the person to cut wire in case of fire, and the assistant wiring inspector from the motion, if that's possible.
Happy to have a friendly amendment.
We can do that. Would you like to clarify why?
Yeah, given my line of work, these folks would inspect our electrical circuitry from time to time. So I'd just like to stay removed like I always do with anything related to solar or electricity.
Thank you.
So I have no other questions. So maybe we could, if we could break those out of the motion. I don't know who made the motion.
We can amend the motion.
Yep. Amend the motion to exclude the appointment of Kevin Barrett as wire inspector, Kevin Barrett as person to cut wire in case of fire, Jonathan Shepard as assistant wiring inspector.
No issue with that at all. I just don't want to be voting on that.
Nope. I think it's completely appropriate.
Second is fine. All right. Any other question, comment? Hearing none. We'll do a voice vote. All those who are in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nay? Hearing none, the motion carries. Now we'll do another motion for the remaining 3.
Yep. I move, I'll let Brian take a walk for half a second. I move to confirm the town manager's appointment of the following individuals to the positions listed to terms expiring 30 June 27. Kevin Barret as wiring inspector, Kevin Barret as person to cut wire in case of fire, Jonathan Shepard as assistant wiring inspector.
Any question, comments?
No.
All those are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you. We'll go to the next one, which is Town Manager's delegation of Trench Safety Officer to the Director of Public Works and Highway Manager positions. Do we have a motion?
I move to confirm the town manager's delegation of trench safety officer to the director of public works and highway manager positions per chapter 187 of the town of Hopkins general bylaws, and the delegation of the chief procurement officer for the Hopkins Public Schools to the public school chief financial officer position.
Do you have a
Second.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll put it on vote. All those who are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you. That is all with all the annual appointments. Thank you. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is Eagle Scout recognition. The Select Board will recognize the following Eagle Scouts, and I will go around the table and ask my colleagues to pick one and talk about the achievements. This is an exciting moment that our town's children are stepping up to do community work as Eagle Scouts, and their commitment and dedication speaks for itself. Wonderful work for the town. So we want to thank them and recognize them, and that's what this is about. So I'll start with Ms. Ruta Bush.
Sure. And just confirming, I don't believe any of the Eagle Scouts are here tonight. Sometimes they come in person, but if they're on Zoom, they should raise their hand, I would say.
They are not, but do you see anyone online?
I don't think so.
So there is an event for the recognition this coming Saturday at 10 o'clock at the church, Faith Church. But I think we want to officially also recognize in this meeting.
So I'd like to recognize Aditya Patel, who built benches for the fire ring at the Faith Community Church of Hopkinton, and Rashid Lashandarande, who installed fitness equipment along the Center Trail in Hopkinton. I'm sure those will all be enjoyed by the residents. Matt, do you want to do the next one?
Yep. Asith Konapala replaced a boardwalk at Brook Hollow Conservation Land for the Hopkinton Area Land Trust.
Pranad Gunti Reddy Gari cleared turf and installed a fruit garden for the Metro West YMCA Family Outdoor Center in Hopkinton.
And Colin Stacy cleaned up and marked with an information plaque a historic mill foundation on public land in Hopkinton.
Thank you, and thanks to the Eagle Scouts. Congratulations, and I'll be at the event on Saturday, and some of our colleagues will be. We'll see you on Saturday, and thank you again. I appreciate your commitment.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing the projects.
Any other comments?
Those are great projects. I mean, all of them combined is a lot of work. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Great. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is fiscal year 2027 water and sewer rate setting. The Select Board will consider setting water and sewer rates for fiscal year 2027 and consider whether to offer a water and sewer rate discount for eligible residents. Rate setting recommendations are: 1, Water Staff and Water Sewer Advisory Board was WSAB. Recommendation is for a 15% increase for an additional annual cost of $8.07 per month for the average residential user. 2, Sewer Staff and WSAB recommend 30% increase for an additional annual cost of $23.32 per month for the average residential user. We did discuss this at length in the last meeting, and we wanted to wait for Mr. Kisner and Mr. Clark to have the final vote. So today we can discuss further, and I think Kerry is here. If you have any questions or anyone else, we can go over that, and then we'll decide on the vote. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, through the chair, thank you for waiting. This is obviously a passion project of mine. I guess, Elaine, I have a question. It wasn't clear to me from the last session whether or not we also talked about the revised town financial policy that was kind of moving part and parcel with the sewer rates this year.
Yeah, so when Matt Abraham made his presentation, he talked about how that was factored into the projections as far as the needs for the enterprise account, so it was discussed.
Okay, so thank you. I love it. I can tell we're working together a lot now. So yes, I am seeing rates here that reflect in theory the financial policy that will be coming to the board for further approval. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure of that. So for the rest of you, so I'm not speaking in cryptic code here, I've been working in the background with Kyla as well as Matt Abrams and the Water and Sewer Advisory Board to make a number of updates to the financial policy, chief among them about how we set rates. For the public's benefit there, I wanted to ensure the recommendations here reflected what we are proposing as the updates to the financial policy so that we aren't in immediate conflict. I don't have any other questions. Thank you all for the diligence and discussion here.
Thank you, Mr. Kisner.
And Matt, through the
Hi, Kyla.
chair.
I didn't know you were there. Oh.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. These rates will reflect that policy change year one. If we do something different, it will not reflect that policy change.
Of course. Kyla, since you're here and you've chirped up, when do you think we might see the updated policy come back?
July 21st.
Oh, what a great answer. I definitely don't have other questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, do we have any other questions, comments? We have a pretty long motion. Who wants to take it up?
I got it, but I want to assume here then, am I reading it for option 1 for at least the first one? I'm certainly happy to, that would be my preference, but I need to know what % I'm reading the motion for.
Good question. That's what we discussed and kind of agreed the last time.
Okay,
I
perfect.
spoke in favor of option 1 last time.
Okay,
For
perfect.
both of them. option
Okay,
one. Yeah.
perfect. Then I'll do the first one now. I move to set water rates for the fiscal year 2027 with an increase of 15% effective July 1, 2026, as shown in the FY 2027 water and sewer rate study prepared by the Abrams Group LLC, 2026 May, excuse me.
Second.
All those, any other discussion, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion carries.
I'm going to, with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'm going to jump to the water discount, and let's just do them in sort of, I move to implement a discount of up to $200 per year on water enterprise bills for residential water systems users who receive property tax exemptions from the Hopkinton Board of Assessors under clauses 17, 22, 37, and 41 of Section 5 and Chapter 59 of the Massachusetts General Laws, FY 27, effective July 1, 2026, and for residents who receive the Hopkinton Means Tested Senior Citizen Property Tax Exemption tied to the Massachusetts Circuit Breaker Tax Credit.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion carries.
I'm making up for lost time today. I move to set sewer rates for fiscal year 2027 with an increase of, I'm sorry, folks, 30%, effective July 1, 2026, as shown in the FY 2027 water and sewer rate study prepared by the Abrams Group LLC.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it. With a comment?
Yep.
The 30% sounds very high.
Agreed.
It is, year over year. Dollar-wise, it's $23.32 per month. So it's significant, but it's not crazy.
No.
It's still high.
I appreciate you saying that, Brian. I sticker shock at it as well, but I think it's also important to highlight to the town that this is part of the recovery actions associated with some periods of under rating. We don't anticipate continuing to have high rate hikes like this, but we do need to recover a little bit.
And I was a little bit uncomfortable with that high rate, given how high the water's rates are going to be. But I think, I guess, since both the Water Advisory Board and the town staff recommend the first option, I guess I will agree to go with that, but it does seem high to me.
It is a troubling math equation where ultimately the cost to generate and the cost to distribute are only going up and the pool of users is staying the same.
Thank you. All great and rightful comments. We had discussed it at length in the last, and we found that this was the meaningful and reasonable, even though it's very high, we all agree, to cover the costs and the forecasted expenses that we see to provide the services at the level that we want to provide to our residents. So I'm in agreement with my colleagues as well.
I don't think we all agreed last time, but
Okay, sorry.
I'm willing to vote for it.
Okay. Well said, Amy.
Thanks for bringing that up. I thought, good. So I'll put it on vote. All those who are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
Last one.
The last one.
I move to implement a discount of up to $200 per year on sewer enterprise bills for residential sewer system users who receive property tax exemptions from the Hopkinton Board of Assessors under clauses 17, 22, 37, and 41 of Section 5 and Chapter 29 of the Massachusetts General Law for FY 2027, effective July 1, 2026, and for residents who receive the Hopkinton Means Tested Senior Citizen Property Tax Exemption tied to the Massachusetts Circuit Breaker Tax Credit.
Second.
Mr. Chair, Scrivener's note, Chapter 59. I think you might have saw 29 there, but it's 50.
Oh,
Yes. In Chapter 59 of the Massachusetts.
The motion's fine.
Motion's correct. I can't read, folks.
all right. We're all set? With that, want to put it on vote. All those who are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none, the motion carries. That's all with the water and sewer rates. Thank you. We'll move to our next agenda item, which is tree removal authorization. The Select Board will consider authorizing the tree warden to remove 19 trees located on town property, EMC Park, and Assessor's Map Parcel U22, Lot 73, Block 0. At a tree removal hearing on June 9, 2026, objections were made by one or more persons, thus leading to Select Board approval in accordance with the provisions of MGL-CH 87 Section 4. If approved, removal would be conditional upon receiving approval from the Open Space Preservation Commission for 3 of the trees. So we have all the supporting exhibits with the agenda item. I'll ask Elaine if you want to add some more to the context for the board.
No, I think it was pretty self-explanatory. Carrie Reed is here as tree warden to answer any questions and discuss the objections that were raised at the hearing.
Thank you. Carrie, do you want to come forward? Thank you. Do you want to give us a context and also discuss the objections you have received?
Yes, sure. So the context is that this is a project that was approved at annual town meeting to do a sidewalk between EMC Park and Fitch Ave and Blueberry Lane, the new neighborhood over there. As part of that project and the design that the town's been working on, it would require the removal of 19 trees. They were marked in accordance with a tree hearing requirement, so we had to do that. The public notice, mark the trees, go through a public tree hearing. So we held a joint public tree hearing between myself as the tree warden and the Parks and Rec Commission. We have not yet held a joint hearing with the open space because we did not appreciate that the sidewalk goes across 2 properties and that they're actually managed by 2 different commissions. They're scheduled to have their public hearing tomorrow, but I have talked with the chair. And so well, I shouldn't say the open space, but the Parks and Recreation Commission looked at it, and they were supportive of the tree clearing for the project because the project met their goals. But it was a public hearing, so there were a few folks that objected to it. One member at the public hearing herself that seemed to be just generally not in support of any removal of trees, like the more natural environment at EMC Park. And then there was a few abutters who have recently purchased houses along Fitch Ave that had some concerns about privacy, screening, protection of their property from people wandering onto it, things like that. I think we only got one written objection prior to the tree hearing. But that was enough to kind of trigger stuff. We got one at the hearing, one afterwards. A few people had questions, just in general of what kind of designs were looked at, which had been incorporated, and they tried to reduce the amount of trees that would get removed as part of the project. But because there were objections, we're bringing it back here, just make sure that we complete that public hearing, that public process. But I can answer any specific questions that you have that came up.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Carrie? Mr. Hare?
So maybe we could back up a little bit because I'm drawing a blank on this one. So we have EMC Park and a new neighborhood somewhere nearby. We're trying to connect those 2.
Correct.
And there's a sidewalk. And is that sidewalk going to be a paved sidewalk, or is that sidewalk going to be a stone sidewalk?
It will be a paved sidewalk.
Okay, so paved sidewalk. And is that from the developer that's paying that, or is that the town? Did we vote that at a town meeting that I'm forgetting about or something?
The town is paying for the sidewalk. It was approved at the 2023 annual town meeting. The developer donated I believe, the property that
ties his or her land to.
Right. And some additional property, because the lot, it's skinny and then it has this weird shape. So it includes that sidewalk, but it also includes open space, which is why the Open Space Preservation Commission is the steward of that.
Town meeting weighed in on it. That's great. And I just want to make sure it wasn't some ad hoc sidewalk coming in.
Correct.
And then how about Conservation Commission and Planning Board? Planning Board would have weighed in, I guess, with the neighborhood layout, right?
Planning Board was the sponsor for the article at annual town meeting.
Okay.
They didn't have any strong preferences about the sidewalk. They were just very concerned about having a connection. The town engineer has been designing the sidewalk, and it's not within conservation's jurisdiction, so they haven't chimed in.
And all the trees that we think we have to take down, you think we have to take down to make this sidewalk happen, the town meeting voted on?
Correct.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Herr. Mr. Kisner?
Yeah, I'm sort of largely there. I appreciate the way you go about that, Brian. I always want to preserve what I love, the arboreal character of our community. I think it is one of the defining characteristics of Hopkinton. So I'm always mindful when we talk about taking down trees. With that said, I think one of the only reasons I would be comfortable doing it is to enhance the accessibility of community services to the community. We're talking about taking some trees down to ultimately allow children more access to a park filled with trees and other services that were put there exactly for this purpose. So I really appreciate that. While I don't want to make a habit of something like this when it comes to the accessibility of park services, and especially as Mr. Herr has noted, the town has already weighed in. This one's an easy one for me.
Thank you. Mr. Rubush?
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm very supportive of the sidewalk project in general that we'll have from the other side by Ash Street and that Blue Area neighborhood, be able to walk to school off the roads rather than walking on busy roads. We've got a lot of traffic. So I think this is environmentally friendly and it's safe for the children. I did notice that we got a lot of comments on this via email and in the packet. I did want to note, some people requested, could we just replace them with other trees for somewhere else on the property to kind of you build up some small trees that eventually would get bigger and then would build up the woods a little bit more. Is that within our purview in our motion?
I don't know if it's within your motion, because the hearing is just about removal of trees, but it's something that also the Parks and Recreation Commission brought up, because it was brought up as a thing, a replacement, and we are amenable to it. So what I recommended to them is any of the trees that are 6 inches and larger, because there are quite a few smaller trees. So we thought I'm recommending 6 inches or larger are of value. There's about 7. We can replace those at a location at their discretion, depending on what kind of goals they were trying to get out, whether they want to build that natural wooded barrier, whether they want to provide more shade for the skate park, whether they want to provide more screening, so we can figure out the types and locations working together with the commission, because they have the authority of plantings on their own property. We'll work with the town, so once we go out to bid, we'll know if there's some available funding to do that, and since it's early enough in the fiscal year, we can also willing to use the tree warden's budget to do replacement trees, because we don't have all the funds assigned for the year, and this seems like a reasonable use of that funding. But it was something that the commission did ask, was interested in, and I think it'll be valuable. One of the challenges when we do replacement trees is finding actual space for them. So that could be a challenge at EMC Park, but so we might not, I definitely don't think we'll see 19 trees replaced, but I think we can replace some of the high value ones.
Okay. And then I wondered, is this a public hearing? Because we do have someone with a hand raised on Zoom, and there may be people in the room that want to speak. Is this
Yeah, it's
not a hearing?
not a public.
Not a, so we will not entertain comments?
I would ask the board, do you want to? We are doing okay with time, but how many are we seeing online?
There's only one hand on Zoom, and there's one.
And one here. I think we can allow to speak for a couple of minutes, if you want to.
I think that would be reasonable.
Yeah, we can start with from the room. Please come in. State your name and address, and you have 2 minutes.
Yes, Eric Olson, 29 Blueberry Lane, basically a butter to this property and the project. Very strong support, appreciate the comments from the committee, and I don't want to repeat what I've heard from the town already in terms of environmentally friendly, again, approved at town meeting, just a vital connection for our community to establish this path, and I would encourage the board to move promptly to build it so that by the next school year we can have the children not just going to the park, but going through there to the school. And in terms of the screening, the trees that were taken down for the building project were at the discretion of the builder, and they had plenty of room, and they still have plenty of room in their properties to construct a screening to the extent that they would like to do so, as I have done between my house and that new neighborhood. So strongly supporting. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do we have someone online?
There was a hand up, but he's taken his hand down, so.
Anyone online want to speak? You can speak now for 2 minutes.
They may have changed.
Hearing none, I think we can get back to our discussion and then vote. Any other discussion from anyone?
I'll make the motion if you want. So
Yep.
I move to authorize the tree warden to remove 19 trees located on town property, EMC Park, and Assessor's Map Parcel U22, Lot 73, Block 0, conditioned upon receiving approval from the Open Space Preservation Commission for 3 years. And if it's all right, I'd like to add and to recommend that the Parks and Recreation Commission consider replacing some of the trees elsewhere on the property.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Thanks. Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you.
Through the chair, can I just mention one more thing? Because there is interest now, and Dave is here as the town engineer, but I believe the intent is to bid this out pretty soon and build it by fall?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
By
You
fall.
all want to know.
You heard them. Thank you for coming and advocating. It really matters a lot when abutters, neighbors, and community members come. You waited an hour and a half to speak. That voice speaks very loudly when you wait like that.
The wheels of government move very slowly.
Yep, but we respect it seriously.
Thank you, all the best. And we'll move to our next agenda item, Elmwood School Study. The Select Board will consider discussing the process of determining the future of Elmwood School once it is no longer used by the school department, building on prior work by the Permanent Building Committee, PBC. Options include appointing a special committee to study and make recommendations to the board and PBC, and use of consultant services. Elaine, do you want to add to the context, and do we have anyone to speak on this?
Sure. So there was funding appropriated at the last annual town meeting for a study. But in addition to a study, there has to be, I think, some community involvement in a decision as to what to do with Elmwood School when it gets transferred to the town. Similar to the process we went through for Center School. In that respect, I think we had a committee that was appointed that worked well. And their mission and the recommendations that they made ultimately led to the project that's hopefully getting underway soon. So I thought it was time for the board to talk about, how you want to proceed with that. So we do have consultant services, undefined. It could be an architect, another design professional, engineering professionals, to either work with the committee or work with the board, work with the PBC. So wanted to hear your thoughts as to how you'd like to move forward with citizen involvement in this project.
Thank you. This is an exciting project, and would certainly love to hear my peers' thoughts. Ms. Ritterbusch?
Yeah, I think the Permanent Building Committee has done a good job of kind of sussing out what our needs are for space in town and what would be possible at Elmwood School. They've taken it around to various committees too to get their feedback, which I think is really good. But the general public, I think, doesn't really know too much about it, so it does need that community outreach. But my thoughts are that we have a lot of committees already. I'm not sure we need another committee. If the Permanent Building Committee could do a big public forum at some point, when maybe not in the summer, but in the fall, rather than another committee, or I don't know if we have funds for a consultant to run a workshop. But do we have funds?
I think they could be used for that.
We have funds that could be used for that. So I would be open to having a consultant who's an expert in doing bigger forums too.
Thank you. Mr. Kisner?
So I'm sort of on the opposite side here. I'd like to see another committee here. I think we've had success recently with the school repurposing committees. They've done well for us over at Center Street. I like the way Charleswood has gone from a building perspective. I think, to your point, we absolutely need to be thinking about community involvement. I don't know that we are the right people to be driving those decisions. I'd ultimately like to get a small group of dedicated people involved. Let's let them have their first pass discussions and maybe make a recommendation to us about how they'd like to use that allocated capital. I'd like to have an opinion about that. And then I'd kind of like to let that group drive. I ultimately think it's stretching Permanent Building Committee a little bit outside their role to ask them to start actually driving the strategic selection process. I like the degree of neutrality they have at the moment, where they are sort of just dispassionately and objectively assessing land use. I worry that we are sliding them for convenience in a way that ultimately will have negative outcomes for us.
Thank you. Mr. Hare?
I think most of us remember our kids singing the song Elmwood, Elmwood, We Love Elmwood on Marathon Week, the week prior to Marathon, and all the festivities over there with the Kenyon runners and all. So I have a real soft spot in my heart for Elmwood School. But this sounds to me like all this is going to be energy and effort and money spent to hold that property for the town's use. Is that accurate or no?
Not necessarily. I think the town should also look at selling the property or some combination of things. We have toured the school with the school folks, and there are challenges for converting it to other uses.
Yeah, okay. So as long as this is not just so that we're going to keep it and put something else in there that we're going to figure out what to put in there after we spend $10 million, I'm okay with proceeding with this concept. I really don't want to get rid of Elmwood School because I just love that age of the kids and the innocence and all the great fun that was there. But I'm not sure in our current economic situation, over the next 5 years with our tax position, that we should be spending significant money on a school that if we sold that property, we could offset some of that tax burden forthcoming. So I just want to make sure we're going to look at it from all angles.
We would.
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hare. One question I have is, what is the rationale for having another committee and not having the current building committee working with the consultant and making recommendations like we have done for the center school?
I think the importance of that is having more community involvement in the decision and perhaps ultimately buy-in in whatever the recommendation is. And also to determine, what uses, possible uses for this property are out there, whether it's town use or some commercial use or housing, or whatever those uses are. I think it's important to know what they are. And I think, having community involvement in that process, I think will help.
Thank you. That helps. I would agree on the same. I think the more we can encourage and involve the community, the better, and especially for projects like this. And because these are going to be impactful for a long time, and as Mr. Hare mentioned, that it will have tax imperatives potentially, and we want to look at all the options, and what's best for the town is what we are going to go with. So the more we have community involvement, the more we'll hear the voice of the people and look at all the options. For that reason, I like the idea. My other question is, would that slow down the process potentially? But sounds like for this one, we started really on a good time, and we have the time to form a committee and do all that. Can you comment on that?
I think the committee would have to move quickly because it seems like we have time, but time
clicks, yeah.
Goes by fast.
Yeah.
So, and it takes time for people to get together and discuss things, and for town meetings to occur. It's only once or twice a year.
Agreed, yeah. So with that, I would be open to having another committee for this.
That's my preferred outcome as well.
So just going around, do we need a decision today, or?
No, at a future meeting, we can come up with a draft charge for a committee.
How many wanted to have a committee?
At least the two of us.
Sorry?
I'm not in favor of having another committee, but the three of you are in favor of a committee?
That's a good point. Are you in favor of?
For the center school process, was that just the permanent building committee, or did we break something out for that?
There was a committee, I did pull the charge of that. So we had a committee that got involved kind of later in the process after discussions kind of stalled elsewhere. Then the committee came in, did a lot of work, and I think that was very helpful.
Having it separate from the permanent building committee.
Yeah, we had the Center School Reuse Advisory Team, and I was the liaison, I think, from Planning Board for that. I thought that was first, and they had some forms, but they didn't really get anywhere. Then when the Permanent Building Committee got involved, it seems like then it started moving, and they worked with CPC.
And ultimately, I think the work that committee did was very helpful to the PBC, too.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, sorry, Mr. Chair, it sounds like if we did do a separate committee, it might be a little bit more energized and focused and get things moving a little bit quicker. I'd like to see this move along one way or the other as quick as possible.
And I think it slowed it down. I'm going to be honest. I was on the committee, and then years later, now we're finally doing something.
If not enough people are interested in being on the committee, then it wouldn't happen either.
So if I could suggest then, why don't we put out a call for interest, and at the same time, I like your suggestion through the chair, Elaine, of coming back with a charter of what this might look like. And then if I'm looking at you here, Amy, if we don't like what we get when we come back on the 21st of July, we move forward with PBC. Let's call the ball here, community. If you want to be involved and you want to have your voice heard, we're going to put the call out again, send in some information as suggested. Otherwise, we're going to go Amy's way because we need to move with some speed here. I think that is the ultimate consensus of the four of us.
I like that, yeah. I think let's continue as fast as we can, and if we see, the slowdown, I think we all agree we don't want it to slow down, we can make that decision. Either way, let's initiate those, and when we discuss that, we can revisit this and have the vote.
Is that like a reasonable middle place for you?
So we'll wait till the next meeting and determine the charge for committee, is that what you're saying?
And basically, if we don't get enough people, we go your way, because the point,
Call for people till we do a charge, so that will happen
We can reach out to see if people are interested in possibly serving.
yes,
before we know what.
We could do a quick
yeah.
survey of some sort.
So the next meeting, we'll get it back on
Yes.
the agenda and talk about it.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. We are moving to our next agenda item, Town Manager Report.
First is a Main Street project update. Just pull that up. So the highlights with regard to Main Street are that the contractor is scheduled to be on site to do work at the driveway of Hiller's Cleaners in Marathon Way, trenching across there to install an irrigation conduit, and driveway work at 25 and 35 Main Street. Paving will be dependent on the completion of the curbing and other work. They are having trouble scheduling some of the granite contractors, and they estimate to be ready for paving around the third week of July. So utility structures will be raised ahead of that work, so we'll have to be mindful of that out there. Mass DOT is working with Amarillo to schedule the do not block stop boxes at Meserve Street and 1 West Main Street, which were there before the project. And they'll also be repainting the faded crosswalks on the west side of the project. VHB is preparing plans for a subdrain in the area in front of the library and 35 Main to improve drainage under the sidewalks. And the landscape contractor was on site trimming and resetting trees recently. Some of the trees and shrubs didn't make it through the winter, and their town staff is discussing replacements with Mass DOT and the contractor.
Questions, comments? Good progress, thank you.
Second, I just wanted to highlight that Connor Deegan, town clerk, was a recipient of the MMA Suffolk Certificate in Local Government Leadership and Management last week. This follows a rigorous academic program for almost a year where he learned municipal management and topics such as human resources, budgeting and financial management, and strategic leadership. And this was quite a time commitment for all of the students, attending every Friday virtually from September through May and doing coursework as well. So congratulations to Connor, and it was a great graduation ceremony. And all of the participants in this program, there were 2 classes, one on the Cape and one the rest of Massachusetts, and all our municipal employees, and it's great to see so much dedication to the profession.
That's great. Congratulations to Connor.
Next is just reporting that the town has received official confirmation that we're compliant with the MBTA community zoning. Let's vote at the annual town meeting, so that's very exciting. So we are done with that.
All right.
We're good to go.
Sigh of relief, yeah.
Famous last words.
Just didn't want to be the guy who became internet famous.
If nothing changes at the state level, we're fine. And then finally, there are 2 position vacancies that we're requesting posting. The first is an administrative manager in the police department. This backfills the position as the current employee is leaving for another opportunity in another community. This is a budgeted position in both FY '26 and '27 and serves a critical administrative function supporting the police chief, the department operations, payroll, budgeting, personnel administration. It's important to note this is their only administrative support for the entire department.
Oh, my God.
And the second is for IT support specialist in the IT, the Information Technology and Innovation Services Department. And this vacancy is due to the moving of Ben Ledoux from one position to the position that you voted earlier this evening. So he has been promoted into this other position. So leaving this position to be backfilled. And this is budgeted in the next fiscal year as well.
Do we need to move a motion for that?
I got them. I move to authorize the posting of the administrative manager position for the police department and to authorize the posting of the IT support specialist position for the information technology and innovation services department.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition? Thank you. Hearing, I think the motion carries with most of the aye votes. Our next agenda item is liaison reports and board invites.
There's two motions.
Oh, there's two more?
I made it as one.
Made it one.
I read both in one.
Combined it. Efficiently done, thank you. The next one is liaison reports and board invites. The select board will consider discussing and approving liaison assignments for fiscal year '27. I don't know if we have everyone's input on that, and Mr. Clark not being here, do we want to delegate or move it to the next one? What do the board think?
Yeah.
Did we all send our feedback in? Or,
I don't believe so.
I don't think we have seen all the feedback yet.
okay, I sent mine in that I would be happy to continue with my roles. So
There are one or two I'd like to potentially swap. Namely, I'd like to have a conversation in public with Joe about police, just because I'm so involved over there this year. It feels natural to take that, but let's talk about it in open session. I'll provide my feedback privately.
yeah, if everybody could provide their feedback, that'll speed it up next time.
Yep. I'm otherwise very comfortable continuing with what I have.
Thank you. Please provide the feedback to Elaine, and we'll discuss it collectively.
Actually, to Vasuda.
To Basuda, yep.
The boss, okay.
Mr. Herr, any comments?
No comments.
One thing I should mention, Mr. Clark did mention he wanted to continue his current assignments, except for open space, which is a voting member, and he was looking for someone else to take that. But point taken, Mr. Kisner, we'll discuss it in the next one and collect more information.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. So with that, we'll go to the last item for today, the future board agenda items. I see we are piling up.
Did we do the board invites? And
Do we have any upcoming invites? Sorry, before we move.
well, the Pride event is coming up this weekend and the 4th of July parade.
Yep.
Do we want to do anything to coordinate to be at either of those events as a group, or are we just going to go individually if we want to go?
I'd like to go as a group
if we can. When are those events respectively?
The Pride event is this Saturday. I think it's 1 to 4 on the Common, and the 4th of July is on the 4th of July.
I'm planning to attend both.
I'm planning to attend both.
I'm planning to attend both, too.
Look at my calendar and make sure I didn't just commit to something I can't
And
do.
then we have the Scout event this Saturday at 10 o'clock at Faith Church. I'm
Yep.
going. If anyone
I don't think I'll be able to go to that.
I may actually not be able to make Pride, unfortunately. I have a birthday party.
All right. Any other update actually from the committee liaison assignments?
Have we been invited to anything else recently?
I think so. No.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Any recommendation for future agenda items?
Matt, did you say you would be at the 4th of July, though?
Yes.
Okay, so we could do a select board walk together or float or something.
Yeah.
Let me know, because if not, I think Ed has horrible plans for me as well.
Do we have a banner or anything?
Well, we have a Pride banner, which I do have, but we don't have a 4th of July banner. Maybe we should order one.
Maybe we should get.
Which enterprising Eagle Scout would like to make a full?
Or we can get the flag and.
The 4th of July parade?
Yeah.
I wish you all well.
Yeah, did you see the look on his face? I love you,
I'll be on
Brian.
the Cape, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Both weekends, so.
Both weekends, thank you. I'll be in the Cape also, but it's a short drive for me. Yours is longer.
Knock on famous last words there.
Yeah.
No. You and through the chair, the only future agenda I wanted to discuss is you and I have a meeting that I think will probably happen before the board meets next with Rep. DeRosa and Chief Doherty around our ongoing discussions with the LNG plants and the other businesses up there, continuing to tap around whether or not we can drive some safety improvements for the community. So more to come there, folks.
Thank you. That is something, of course, of critical importance, and we're continuing the discussion. Thanks to Mr. James DeRosa for giving the time and attention to this important matter. Mr. Herr, anything?
No.
All right. So with that,
For future agenda items, there's one that I've forgotten which one it was, but one of the other ones, So that we had a town meeting survey that we put out there. I'm hoping that after the next meeting or so, we could maybe review the survey results. We left it out there for a long time, and I have statistics I can provide comparing to town meeting stats from before the last survey, which is 2022, and then with the current survey results that we get.
Yes.
We do that in July or August?
Yes.
Yeah.
The survey is still active at this time, so yes, we can close that down and process the data.
Or wait till just before the next meeting, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of time gives us more time to analyze or prepare,
Yep.
very rough.
The next meeting is in like 4 or 5 weeks. Let it run until the end of the month if you want to give a little more window, and that still leaves 2 or 3 weeks of analytical.
Okay. End of the month.
All right, sounds good. Now, with that, I think we are covered for tonight. We'll move to the executive session. The Select Board will convene in executive session pursuant to MGLC 30A 21A, Purpose 2, to consider strategy with respect to negotiations with non-union personnel, Fire Chief, Interim Police Chief, pursuant to MGLC 30A 21A, Purpose 3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, Costa Brothers Masonry, Inc. versus Suretech Insurance Company, DBA, Markel Surety, and others, Middlesex Superior Court, number 2281 CV 03297, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the board. Pursuant to MGLC 30A 21A, Purpose 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate, 71 Frankland Road, because discussion in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the board. To approve executive session minutes 6/2/26, and to permit Ms.
To allow Elaine Razros and Lance Del Pior to participate in executive session, and further to not convene an open session at the conclusion of said executive session.
Thank you, Matt. Do we have a second?
Or can we get a so
can we
move?
get a
Since you
motion
and I
first?
kind of co-read that, can we do a so move from Brian or from Amy?
Brent?
Do you have a motion?
Sure, so moved.
A second?
Thank
you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have to roll call because we're going into XCOM.
Amy Roderbush, yes.
Matt Kisner, yes.
Brian Hurd, yes.
Shahidul Manan, yes. Thank you and have a good night.